If you can see my screen, just type a 7 into the questions box. Please, you can see my screen. Okay, awesome. Awesome, thank you very much. I'm paranoid after yesterday, extremely paranoid. I don't like to waste anybody's time. And not only, was it a waste of my time, more importantly, it was a waste of yours. I apologize for that. And I am going to do my best to make it up to you by changing the way you look at internet marketing tonight, today, right now. Okay, we are going to go ahead and get started. Thank you everybody again for showing up. I'm really grateful that you did. Really appreciate you trusting me to come over a second time to see this webinar and all the information that I'm going to share with you. And I am going to try to help you. What I'm going to show you, what I'm going to explain to you has turned out to be one of the biggest decisions that I've ever made. And I think this could be a turning point for you like it has been for me. Sometimes when you see things from a different direction, it's like walking in somebody else's shoes. You know that old saying, when you walk in somebody else's shoes, then you know how they feel. And I'm going to try to give you an opportunity to walk in my shoes by walking in your shoes. We're going to talk about why you do the things you do, and me too. There's a reason why I did the things that I did. There's a reason that I got into SEO. And there's a reason I'm getting out of it. And when I say that, it's no joke. There's no false scarcity here. There's no fear-mongering. I'm going to show you why right now. Most of us got into SEO because we wanted free traffic. But what nobody told us when they were selling us all of these new shiny things, these new softwares, these new techniques, and how to get free rankings in Google and get all this free traffic, what they weren't telling us is that free traffic is not really free. You think about all the money you've spent, and we're going to get into this. We're going to dig into it in detail. You think about all the money you've spent and all of the time that you have lost and all the time and effort you've spent just to get that free traffic. When you could have spent less money and less time getting that same traffic and would have already been making money without having to wait months on your SEO efforts, without learning, probably the 100+ software suites or programs that you've had to learn in order to do that SEO and get that quote-unquote free traffic. So what we're talking about tonight is the real costs of SEO marketing, because free traffic ain't really free. So I see a lot of people, a lot of names in here on this call that I know, and I know you guys are SEOers because many of you are former customers. I see some names here that I do not know. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys a little about me. And maybe some of you that are my current customers don't know some of the things that I'm going to tell you. So we're just going to get started. And I want to let you know that my name is Roger Rowe, and I've been in the internet marketing business almost 10 years, and SEO has been a staple for me because I believed in free traffic, and free traffic was easy to get 10 years ago. Very easy to get 10 years ago. Even though I knew only 10% or less of what I know now, free traffic was easy then. I started creating automated sites, and I created 100 of them, and then I set out. Those made money, but they weren't making me enough. $20, $30 a month per site. That's what it was like about 8 years ago. But that wasn't enough. It wasn't enough to live on. So I set my goal to be 1,000 sites. And with a lot of work and a couple of years sticking with it, believing in what I was doing, believing in myself, I made it to 6 figures with those sites. Now, that was all that was building automated websites and ranking for the long tail keywords. That's what we all know now. It seems pretty easy. The long tail keyword phrase, the phrase long tail keyword, had not even been invented at that point, but that's what we were doing. And Google started making changes about once a year, and people who were doing automated sites like I was, they lost some sites, and they gave up, and they said, this method is dead. Well, I stuck with it, did some testing, had too much in the game to give up now, kind of thing. And we found a way around those Google changes. And even though we lost some sites, the majority of them we didn't lose. They kept earning money. And we just kept testing and kept testing and kept testing and stayed at it. And I stayed in front of the computer for hours and hours and hours every day. More hours than normal people work. I made enough to start traveling, and I made enough to be confident enough in my business to travel abroad. It's something that I had been wanting to do for years and had never had a chance to do because I had a brick and mortar business for 18 years before I started this. Okay, for 18 years I was a contractor, and I was always tied to my job. There was never vacations, there was never travel time. But we'll get into a little more about that. In the 14 years previous from today, I've lived in 14 different places. Now, internet marketing allowed me to do more of that. I did some of it when I was still a contractor because I had an airplane and didn't have a family, so I could go to live wherever I wanted to live, and I chose to choose a new place every year. The most notable locales that I've lived in are Playa Jaco, Costa Rica, and Boquete, Panama, and I also spent some time in Bocas del Toro, Panama. Now, those are the places that I spent time abroad. I've lived in some pretty cool places in the States too. Tampa, Florida, Birmingham, Alabama, and some others. Now, this is my house in Costa Rica, and oddly enough, a friend of mine from Costa Rica is on this call tonight. And when he sees this picture, he's going to know exactly what that is. That was my house in Costa Rica. It was a one-room house with no air conditioner, a couple of blocks off the beach, and it didn't even have glass in the windows. When I went to Costa Rica, I wanted to live like the locals lived, and I did. And that is the house where I slept every night. That's the house where I worked every day. And you see the concrete patio there in Costa Rica. That's called a rancho. And that's where we barbecued and drank beer at least 2 nights a week. And it was a good time. So my SEO, I'm telling you all of that to tell you this. My SEO business performed very well for me. It allowed me to live out some of my dreams. Now, I'm also a pilot, and this is me in the cockpit of a plane just after I got back from Costa Rica and Panama, actually. And this is one of the things that I truly, truly love to do. Flying airplanes. And this is the view from the cockpit outside on this same flight. And SEO has been good to me. SEO has been very good to me. This is a picture in Panama City Beach, Florida, spearfishing off a dive boat. SEO has been very good to me. This is a picture of the beach in Playa Jaco, looking south. So we're on the Pacific Ocean here and looking at the mountains in the background. And here's a picture from the same spot looking north and looking at the waves. I went for a run almost every morning on the beach and went swimming, run and a little bit of swimming every morning before I went to work every day. This is what SEO allowed me to do. SEO has played a huge, huge role in my business for the past 8 to 9 years. It's made me a great living. That's why I'm showing you these things. I want you to know how much I relied on my business or relied on SEO for my business. I went down the street when I left the house in a couple blocks, and this is my view running to the beach. This is about 50 feet from the actual beach. This is my view every morning as I ran down the street. And I haven't found a place in the continental U.S. where I could live like this and have this kind of spectacular view and experience every day. This is that's me holding a Corona, picking a lime off the lime tree in my backyard. SEO has been very good to me. I want you to know that it's important for all the things that I'm about to show you that you know SEO has been very good to me. Okay, this is Los Sueños Marina in Playa Herradura, just north of Playa Jaco, and this is where we went fishing out of. And it's an incredible sight. It's an incredible feeling to be able to go to this particular spot, get on a boat, and know that in 30 minutes you're going to be sail fishing or Dorado fishing or, you know, tuna fishing, just 20 minutes from the marina. It's incredible. It was one of my dreams, and I finally got to live it. SEO has been extremely good to me. Okay? It's made me some money. It's given me freedom. But all of a sudden, SEO is not my friend anymore in business. And we're going to get into this right now. So, the question is, how did I make all that happen? Everything that I've just shown you, living in Costa Rica, living in Panama, it's the internet marketer's dream, right? Well, like I said, I was a successful commercial specialty contractor. We caulked and insulated high-rise glass buildings all over the country. Well, not all over the country, but from Miami to Washington, D.C. to Tulsa, Oklahoma, and all points in between. I had crews all over the Southeast caulking and insulating high-rise glass buildings for 3 of the top 6 glass contractors in the country. So I'd made some money before. I knew how to run a business. I knew how to approach things. In 2007, I saw our good run coming to an end. I knew that something was wrong. In my contracting business, we always signed our contracts about a year before the work started. Well, in 2006, things started to dip a little bit. And you guys all know what happened in 2008. There was I call it a crash. It was a crash. It certainly crashed things for me. In 2006, I saw the number of my contracts start to decline because my repeat customers, whom I'd been with for years, were seeing a decline in their number of contracts. And I told my friends, I said, this thing is about to go south because the amount of Class A office space, which is the majority of high-rise buildings in any town, had been overbuilt. But there was all that cheap money around, and people were building like crazy. All that cheap money was floating around, and people were picking it up and building assets for themselves. But at the end of 2006 and during 2007, I told my friends, I said, something is about to happen, and I'm going to get prepared for it. And I did prepare for it. I didn't owe anybody any money. My business was very lean. I had some overhead, but not a lot of overhead. And I had to make a decision. I had 14 people on the payroll at that point. The highest point I'd had on payroll for installers was 28 people on payroll. And believe me, you have to look into the future. When you have that many people depending on you, you have to look into the future. And you have to get really good at predicting what's going to happen with your business. So this is something that I thought about every day. And I still think about it every day, which I'm going to show you a little later in this process, in this thought process. This is something I concentrated on every day. I have to be able, with those many people counting on me, I had to be able to see around corners and make good predictions. And in 2007, I made a prediction that came true exactly down to the letter. That was the year that I started studying how to make money online. It didn't actually start that way. What I actually started doing, because I knew there was going to be a downturn in contracts, what I actually started doing was looking for a way to market myself online so that people from Oklahoma west, Texas in the south, Minnesota in the north, all the way west to California, and I even had Canada in my mind. I was looking for a way to market myself online because I knew my contracts I was probably going to lose half the number of contracts that I was doing every year. And we're not talking about a lot. We're talking about, we were doing 10 to 12 contracts a year, but they were big contracts. And they were negotiated with repeat customers. So I knew when they got a job, I had a job. If they had a project or signed a contract, I had a project. I signed a contract. And I saw that decline, so I started studying online, trying to figure out how to market my contracting business to the other half of the United States where nobody knew me. I knew some other people involved in the business, but I needed to be able to mass market. And that's how I started studying to go online. Now, some of you have heard this story. Most of you have not. So I feel it really important so that you can understand exactly where I'm coming from on what I'm about to tell you. I find it very important that you need to hear this. In 2007, I finished the last contract I ever did at Disney World in Orlando, Florida, and I packed up my tools, I packed up my travel trailer, I left Orlando and I went to Panama City Beach. I put the tools in storage and I put the travel trailer. It's actually just a pop-up camper. Many of you have seen pictures of that camper that I lived in for 2 years on the beach. I moved to the beach and I sat myself down every day to study internet marketing. That last job in Orlando, during that last job, I helped my employees find jobs elsewhere and I closed my business. I was burning my ship. If you go somewhere in a ship and you burn that ship and there's no possibility of returning back to where you came from, it incentivizes you to find success in whatever it is that you've chosen to do. And that was what I did. I helped all my employees get jobs and I closed my business so that I could move to the beach and start my internet marketing business. It was a huge move. I had money in the bank. Don't get me wrong, I wasn't broke. But I certainly burned my ships. And I had enough money to live on for 2 or 3 years, maybe 4, if I was frugal. And I had an airplane and I had a boat. So I was in pretty good shape, but I did burn my ships. That's back when SEO was easy. And that's back when SEO laid the foundation for me to get to 6 figures. And why did I choose SEO? Now, here's where we're going to get into the part that you're going to be able to identify with. Ranking on Google was easy, and getting to the #1 spot was pretty darn easy at that point. All we did is we chose a Web 2.0 property like squidoo.com, if any of you guys remember that, and we would write, you know, a 1,500, 2,000, 2,500 word article, add some pictures to the Squidoo lens, and then send a few backlinks to it, manual backlinks. That was before there was any, you know, GSA search engine ranker that would spit out thousands of links every day. I think the X-Rummer guys may have been working on it at that point, because those were the guys who were at the forefront really of SEO, and they were the ones, you know, selling all the illicit stuff, the pills and the porn and all that, and learned a lot from those guys. I never got into those businesses, but they were really, really good at everything they were doing. And I followed those guys in the Black Hat forums, you know, but those things were beyond me. I was not that technically astute at that time. So you could send a few manual backlinks and you would have a #1 ranking. It really was easy, and these are articles that actually, you know, actually made money and made commissions. So day in and day out, I repeated that process over and over and over. I know you can identify with that because many of you are still doing it. I and my team have been still doing it up to just a few months ago. And we rode that wave. We rode it until it got competitive. Then we started looking for another way. That's when we started building WordPress sites. So basically, we were writing Squidoo lenses as articles. We were probably doing some stuff, if I remember correctly, over at easyarticles.com. But when that got competitive, we started building WordPress sites. And ranking those, the algorithm, Google's algorithm was such that it allowed these WordPress pages to rank really easily as long as you did some backlinking. I mean, backlinks are everything. And we actually got to a point where we found out that we could create on-page SEO with meta tags, you know, keyword stuffing, basically, and starting every first sentence and every paragraph on the page with the keyword that you wanted to rank for. That's what we were doing, and then sending backlinks to it. That's what we were doing. We simply moved our article marketing business over to our WordPress sites where we could publish more and more and more without being corralled into the rules that were starting to kick in at Ezine Articles and Squidoo, because they were starting to create rules that made it difficult for you to produce content and get rankings and thereby make more commissions. That's when we went to WordPress. We linked back all those Web 2.0 sites or pages that we had built. We were going over there and editing our pages and inserting links back to our WordPress sites that we owned. And it was a really good deal. It was a really good deal for a long time. And then somebody came out with a plugin that would build automated sites with WordPress. We learned how to automate the building of hundreds of pages. And it was nirvana. It was nirvana. All we had to do was gather up as many keywords as we could and let the software publish the pages. It was great. We got to a point where we could build thousands of pages every day. Now this is when SEO was easy. This got more and more difficult as the years went on. And it's something that we still own a lot of these big automated sites. but they're not new sites anymore. They have years on them. They're aged, so they still produce for us. But we're building thousands of pages every day, and that was a big step. That's when getting keywords was the hardest thing. There were no keyword tools. There was no scrape box. You basically had the Google Keyword Planner in whatever form it was in at that point. And then you had some sideline software developers would develop something that would combine a bunch of words together, and help you create more keywords. Sometimes they didn't even make sense, but it would help you create more keywords so that you could put more pages out. So that's what we did. And we got to a point where we were buying hundreds of domains and building out these thousands of pages on each of these domains. And being in business before gave me a unique perspective on processes. In the contracting business, we had a process. We had to do this first, this second, this third, so on and so forth, and every job was the same. So I knew what a good process looked like. I started creating checklists for my processes, and I was handing those off to people who were helping me. That was the infancy of virtual assistants at that point. We sped the process up, and we were building sites like crazy. We were making money, but I was investing money. We had hosting, domains, and all of that good stuff. And the software got us to a point to where we could build hundreds of thousands of pages on a single domain. And that was the wild, wild west. It was working. We were getting long tail traffic like crazy. Even with no backlinks. There was nothing to backlink. There was no way to backlink hundreds of thousands of pages back then. That went on for years. It worked for a long time. And for some sites, it still does. Like I said, we still make money with some of those sites, those ugly, ugly WordPress sites with that ugly blue theme that used to be the default theme in WordPress. We still have some of those. And what makes those older sites still work for us is domain authority. Those domains have age on them. And those domains have enough authority that they've never gotten indexed, not even today. But domain authority has become one of the most important parts of SEO. If you've done any reading lately, you're going to know that for sure. And we're going to cover why that's a good thing and why it's a bad thing. It's only good if you have in your possession domains with plenty of authority. The newer sites are having problems, and this is something that we found starting back in November and December. DA is something that new sites do not have. If you buy a new domain and you build it and you check you've probably got a tool that checks the domain authority for you, you know that it's at 0. That's where it starts. And you need to get it way up. You need to go a long way from 0 to get it to the point where it's going to give you what you need in terms of rankings. Specifically, links from high domain authority are more important than ever before. Domains with high authority. Those links are now more important than any other link you can get. And that was probably brought on by the mass spam tools that so many of us are using today. That's a little speculation, a little anecdotal evidence that, you know, tells me that it's probably true, but we know for a fact, because I'm reading examples of large corporations who own tons of high authority domains who are killing it simply with footer links from their high authority domains. So bear with me. We're getting to the meat of this. So why such a rapid change? Well, you guys, you know, anybody that's in the SEO space is learning that Google's artificial intelligence is now on the scene. And it has been for a few months. And what I am learning is that the intelligence that this algorithm is obtaining, more specifically, the rate that this algorithm is obtaining intelligence is incredible. It's incredible. I told people a long time ago, I said, you know, we called building automated sites back then auto blogging. A lot of people said auto blogging's dead. It's never going to work. Well, we kept doing it. You know, we were doing it, you know, that was 5 years ago when people were saying that, and everybody was getting out of it. We were still building automated sites, and we were still making it work. And I told people, I said, auto blogging will never be dead, because there's no way in the world that Google's algorithm can keep up with the sheer amount of volume that we were putting out. Because back in the day, Google developed their algorithm to do one thing and one thing not only, but it was the majority of what they wanted, and that was to index. They wanted to index every single page that came out as soon as they could possibly index it. So that was in our favor, right? That was in our favor to build as fast as we could, because they were indexing these automated sites, you know, 10,000 pages a day. Just crazy, crazy numbers. And they figured out that automated sites were simply taking advantage of what their algorithm did best. And that was to find everything, grab everything new, and get it indexed as soon as possible. And that's why building those automated sites was so good for so long. But now, with the artificial intelligence, those automated sites aren't doing that well. New automated sites aren't doing that well. Older sites that have age and have domain authority, those sites are still make money. You know, and there's still some, you know, there's still some big corporations with 50,000 page sites. You know, what I was telling you about just a minute ago on the last slide about the corporations doing this, there was one corporation a couple of months ago who put out a new website, and it was 50,000 pages, a little over 50,000 pages, and Google ate it up. However, there are two differences between that site and the kind of sites that you can build and that I can build. Number one, it was on an age domain that they picked up that somebody dropped. So it already had some history. I think it was 2, 3, maybe 4 years old. Now that's something that you and I can do. But what they could do that you and I can't is link to that brand new 50,000 page site from the footer of 25 to 50 other domains with super high authority. I'm talking about in the 90s. Very old corporate sites. Very old. When I say very old, it's relative, 10 years old. So backlinking by itself, obviously with a good on-page structure, will still allow you to take over the search results. But all those links need to come from domains with authority in the 90s and be very well aged. That's something that's not easy for you and I to replicate without shelling out tons and tons of money. Now you guys can do a Google on that. There's some of that information. I'll share it with you. If you guys want to email me, I'll share that report with you. But it's all over the place. It's been reported and re-reported in the last couple of months. This artificial intelligence thing is going to be, what they're trying to do is get rid of low-level SEOers like you and I. There are too many players in the market. This artificial intelligence is bringing constant manipulation of the algorithm so fast that they've turned the tables on us. We can't now, they used to not be able to, that's terrible English. Back in the day, they couldn't keep up with us. They couldn't find our sites fast enough to de-index them before we were already making money and the sites were a year or two old. But now it's the other way around. We can't keep up with their constant manipulation. There are changes going on every single day now, and there's no way programmatically for us to keep up with that. Or mentally as humans, there's no way for us to keep up with what's going on with this constant manipulation. Their manipulation is even killing some white hat sites. You guys have heard about it through the Hummingbird and the Panda and all that stuff. It's been going on the last couple of years. They've been building up to this crescendo for a while. And what they're doing is they're trying to drive all of us who are on the cutting edge of SEO for all these years now, they're trying to drive us to Google AdWords. That is their number one goal, because that is their number one source of income. And if you think Google still lives by their mantra of do no evil, you are a very naive person. They have made SEO so complicated and so difficult that a one-man show, like many of you are and like I was at one time, they're making it impossible. They're making the ranking cycle, or the SEO cycle, whatever you want to call it, so long now that you have to be a corporation to have enough money to wait that cycle out, to get those links that you need, to get that on-page SEO you need, and to wait for those rankings. They are driving all of us back to AdWords, even though they ran a bunch of us off, about 6 years ago. They ran a lot of small people out of AdWords because they wanted that corporate money to come in. Well, that corporate money flowed in. And now they're making SEO so difficult that they're trying to run us right back to AdWords because they still have some holes left to fill. They still know that if they can make SEO difficult enough, that people will come back to AdWords. And I have never been one to give in on an idea just because somebody said I should, but I've seen something new. I've seen a different way of doing business. SEO is so expensive. The big companies are the ones taking over because they are the ones that have the money to fund the teams to do it. And we all know that every corporation has an SEO department now. Every corporation does. And they've got the money to do it. They can outspend you. They can outspend me. They can outspend everybody on this call all put together and not think a thing about it. Yet we're investing our personal money. Okay, they have millions to spend on teams. And the takeover has already begun. I just told you about one example of it. They're driving the prices up because they can. These corporations have the resources to handle this entire process. And the process is about 10 times longer now to rank something than it was 8 years ago. Now, I know there are a couple of people on this call that I know have been around for 8 years. And you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about when I say this. You've got schema. You've got all these other things that you have to worry about. So it takes 10 times as longer, 10 times the amount of time to get something to rank than it did before. So we're going to talk about what the real cost of SEO is. Your time. Your time. When we got into the SEO game back in the beginning, when we had stars in our eyes and we said, we're going to try internet marketing because we know that that's all done by computer, which means we can automate the process, which means we're going to be able to push a button and money's going to hit our bank account. What we didn't take into account was the amount of time that we were going to spend looking at new products, buying new products, learning new products, courses and software. And believe me, for the first couple of years, I worked 16 hours a day, 7 days a week. Actually, for the first 3 years, 3.5 years. 16 hours a day, 7 days a week. I never factored that in to that quote-unquote free traffic that I was going to be getting. Because it wasn't actually cash, was it? So it was free. Except it cost me my life. Not in the sense that I'm dead, but I didn't have a life outside of SEO. And if you're an SEOer and you're clinging to the dream of quote-unquote free traffic, you probably don't have a life either. If you do, you're not getting a whole lot of SEO results. It's difficult. It's difficult. I mean, it took a lot of time then. Now it takes even more time. You got to build a site. You got to perform the schema on it. You got to write the content. And now even your design plays a role, how well your site looks and operates and functions. Think about bounce rate. How long does it take your page to load? How many customers leave or how many potential customers leave because your site loads slow? Well, if you have a bad design, your site's going to load slow and you're going to have a high bounce rate, which means customers aren't buying, number one. Number two, Google measures that bounce rate and they're going to send you less traffic because you have a high bounce rate. So design even plays a big part now. I mean, we were even getting away from WordPress because it was become so slow. It was hurting our bounce rate. You know, now you got to send backlinks. Now you got to send social signals. Social signals have been written into the algorithm, probably were almost 2 years ago. So you don't just need regular backlinks now. You need all these social signals. It's getting more and more they're adding more and more and more pieces to the pie. Cost of SEO number 2. What we're seeing is that we're waiting weeks to get to something, to get something to the front page of Google for the profitable keywords. I'm not talking about making a video with your own business name in it and getting it ranked in 5 minutes. There are a lot of people selling those cheap courses showing how you can get rankings in Google in 5 minutes. And it's true, you can. But the keywords that you're ranking for aren't worth anything. Excuse me. Rankings are taking longer than ever. So you're waiting longer than you ever have. But for those of you who don't like to sit around and wait, you have 2 choices. You do your SEO work, and then you say, okay, well, I'm going to wait to see if this works before I do anything else. Well, if you do that, you could be waiting 60, 90 days to see if you're actually going to be able to get it to the front page. Okay, but if you do that and it doesn't work, you just wasted 3 months without getting paid. You just wasted 3 whole months without getting paid. So people are starting to smarten up. So they will do an SEO project, and while they're waiting for that one to move to the top, they'll start another one. And they'll get that one done in a week, and then they'll start another one. Well, these are all time and resources that are going into these things. You know, before you know it, you've got 8 weeks into them before you even know they're going to rank. Maybe you've got more before you really know whether it worked or not. Maybe you've got 12. That's 90 days. So the cycle is getting so long that you've got to invest more of your time and your money than you ever had to before. And you guys who are actually doing this know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm just like you. SEO treats me just like it treats you. And I know what's going on. And I know you know too. You got to send more backlinks, more social signals. The ranking cycle is weeks instead of days, at least for the profitable keywords. And I knew this. I saw it. I've been living it. But just like in 2007, when I made a decision to close my highly successful specialty contracting business, the writing was on the wall, at least for me. I made the choice then because I could see what was coming. And I'm making the choice now. I saw the writing on the wall. My business was about to be halved. I knew I was going to lose at least half of my yearly contract numbers. I knew I would be basically working for nothing all year until there was a reemergence in volume of business. And today, the writing is on the wall. The Google artificial intelligence is only going to continue to make it more difficult, more expensive, and more time wasting for you and for me. This writing is on the wall. And I got a question for you. Are you working for nothing already? I can tell you that for the last 8 months, me and my automated site team have been working for nothing. We have been spending money and we are getting zero return. All the time that I have put into that project has been wasted. We're not losing every site, but we're losing the majority of those sites to the point where it's really not worth it. Especially with the knowledge that I have now and what I've already showed you a glimpse of. You guys have seen the software. You've seen the earnings video, the proof video. Knowing that that is available, operating and building new SEO sites is becoming no longer profitable. Personally, I don't want to work for nothing. I'm not going to work for nothing. That is why I'm giving you all this information and this point of reference, this point of view, this paradigm that has already changed for me. I want you to see it the way I see it, because if you do and you become an early adopter, you're going to be way ahead of everybody else. And you're going to be way ahead of probably where you are now. Now, many of you on this call, I know, make money with SEO, just like I do. And you're not going to abandon that money. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying you should abandon the SEO that's making you money now. I'm saying that if you are working with SEO and you expect to have future earnings, that you may be sadly mistaken. And I'm telling you that I am an early adopter. I have always been an early adopter, and that I'm sleeping better at night since I decided to give this new thing a try. Okay, if you're not earning now, which I think there are probably some people on this call who are not earning now, it's coming. It's coming for all of us. We have already experienced it. I, Roger Rowe, have already experienced SEO not giving me a return on my investment in the last 8 months. So it's already here for me. If it's not here for you today, it's coming. It's coming. We know it's gotten tough. I don't want to put too fine of a point on that, but why hope and pray? You know, that's what SEO is for a lot of people, especially those that don't have years of experience and don't know what they're doing. If you are new to the game, or if you've never been successful with SEO, why hope and pray? This ranking cycle has gotten so long that you're hoping and praying like never before, because it's just getting more difficult as we go. You're spending your money on things that don't produce. Everybody here knows that I have a coaching program for building automated sites. Everybody knows that. I had to stop selling that program because I couldn't even, starting just about 3 months ago, I couldn't make my own new sites profitable. So in good conscience, I couldn't ask anybody else to pay me money to do what I already knew was not going to make them any money. You know, if I can't teach you how to get your money back, then I don't need to be teaching you that. So I've stopped that coaching program because I don't want people to spend money on things that aren't going to produce. You're going to spend all this time putting your SEO stuff together. You're going to spend more time waiting for results. And like I said before, I'm sure there are people on this call that have never seen any results, not that produced any significant amounts of money anyway. And now you know why. And it's just going to get more difficult because I see the writing on the wall just like I could see it in 07. So the real cost of SEO, let's just assume, $100 a day 10 years ago was a big deal. It was a big deal. It was that was the big goal that people were trying to reach, was $100 a day. Now, that's going to be, a little over $30,000 a year, considering that your websites would perform 47 days a week, 24 hours a day. That was 10 years ago. And there's still people who have been in this for 8, 9 years that still are not making $100 a day. And that $100 a day doesn't go nearly as far as it did 10 years ago. It's probably the equivalent of $6 or $7 a day now. But there's still people who are not making $100 a day and have been at this off and on for the same amount of time as I have. Folks, it's just going to get more difficult. So let's assume that your goal is $100 a day, okay? So theoretically, if you were where you wanted to be, you'd be making a profit of $100 a day. So let's also assume that you're buying SEO software, because I know you do it. I know I do it, and I know you do it, especially when you're at that point where you don't really know what's going on and you just want to try everything that you possibly can. You buy everything that comes out and hope that that's going to be that's going to be your answer. And I'm going to assume you've probably bought video software, because video marketing became the craze. Video marketing is just a little bit easier way of SEO because Google owns YouTube. So let's assume that you're buying that. Let's assume you're buying backlink software. I do, and I know you probably do too. If not, you're buying a service. Or you're not getting your rankings. And the question is, do you have time to even operate all those things? Buy new courses and buy new software. There are only so many hours in the day. How many programs and courses do you have on your hard drive collecting dust? I bet it's embarrassing. I bet if you grabbed a calculator and you found all those things that you've bought that you don't have time to use, and you tallied up everything you spent on it, including your time, at $100 per day, you'd be embarrassed at what that number is. But that is going to be a true number, because for every day you lose, that's $100 that you don't have. That's $100 you should have had. While making $100 a day is not that easy in SEO anymore, it is doable, and it is doable in other ways. So are all those things a wasted purchase for you? You've got to ask yourself. This is important. This is I'm trying to get you to see the reality of your situation. Your reality is the same as my reality, because SEO treats us the same. It costs me the same amount of money as it costs you. It costs me the same amount of time as it costs you. So were all these things wasted purchases? And the time you spent trying to operate them, or not? The real cost, let's say you spent 2 weeks running some software that you bought that's supposed to be a magic button cash creator for you. and then you spent another 2 weeks waiting for results. Notice that 2 weeks is a lot longer than the 12 weeks that I mentioned before. Let's just assume it's 2 weeks that you wait for results now, even though we all know it's not. It's a lot longer than that. You want to see those results, and here's why. Because you're afraid to invest more of your time without seeing results. Now, I know I'm right about that because I felt this way in the beginning myself. I don't want to waste my time on something that doesn't work, so I'm going to test something. I'm going to give it a chance to work, and if it works, then I'll put more time into it and I'll repeat it every day. That's where a lot of you are. Now, a lot of you are beyond that point, just like I'm beyond that point, but that's where we all started. We're all human. We all value our time. Our ego is big that way. And I know you're feeling it. And if you're not feeling it now, you remember feeling it. I know you do, because I still do. That was a really, really important thing to me. I didn't want to waste my time doing something that wasn't going to work. Why would I do that? Of course not. So, I'm just like you. You don't want to waste your time. That means you're going to start over with something else, which means another 4 weeks wasted. It happens. How many times has that happened to you? You're waiting for something that may or may not work. It's a real cost. This is the reality of your situation. Every day you're not making that $100 a day, you're losing that $100 a day. That's business, because the bills never stop coming. The electrical company doesn't hold your electrical bill simply because you didn't make any money this month. The bank is not going to suspend your car payments because you didn't make any money this month. You are losing money. Believe me, if you're not reaching your daily goal, you can consider that a loss, because those bills never stop coming. Okay, if you're doing this, this is a crapshoot. This is not a business. It's not even a hobby. It's a crapshoot. The real cost number 3, if you don't get the SEO combination correct, you can remain in that cycle for months. Work for a week, wait a week. Work a couple of weeks, wait a couple of weeks. At $100 a day, it's going to get expensive. What's the real cost? Just assuming that there's another way to make $100 a day, just like I told you there is. You've seen the software, you've seen the proof earnings. In fact, those proof earnings were right at $100 a day. Just a smidge less. So let's assume that there are other ways to make $100 a day while you're losing $100 a day. If you did this process, this SEO process, and you went through this what I call, it's a newbie cycle. Call it the newbie cycle. I was there. I did it. I'm not ashamed to say it. I didn't like to say it in the beginning. I didn't want to admit it to myself, but I eventually had to, because I'm a business person. When money is going out of the account and no money's going into the account, you don't have a business. What you have is a boat anchor around your neck. What that is you're losing money. So if you did that for 6 months times 30 days, that'd be 180 days. Then 180 days at $100 a day is $18,000. So every 6 months you're losing $18,000. By keeping yourself in that newbie mode, or the shiny project, or buying the new shiny object. If you're still doing that, you're losing money. If you've been at this more than 6 months, you've already lost $18,000. You just don't know it because the money is there to be made. All you got to do is have traffic, steady traffic, and an offer. That money is there to be made. It's just that we got sucked into the SEO. We got lured into it. Okay, what if you could work 2 hours a day and you get guaranteed traffic tomorrow and every day after that? Guaranteed traffic. Let's just look at some numbers. If you got that traffic for less than 5 cents a click and you get to choose, now we're talking about if we had the world just like we wanted it. We work 2 hours a day, we get guaranteed traffic. That traffic's going to cost us a nickel a pop or less. I can tell you that I'm paying a penny a pop in some instances, not in all, not in the majority, but we are sometimes paying 1 cent a click for traffic. So if you could just choose, if you could get all of this and you could choose how many clicks you wanted, and let's just say you chose to get 100 clicks every day, that would cost you $5 a day. Now, 2 hours of work and $5 a day, is that more or less expensive than what you've been doing this whole time? And you thought SEO was free traffic. I know the answer. This is tons and tons and tons cheaper than going after quote unquote free traffic with SEO. Tons cheaper. So we're just building our dream world right here. So let's keep on. Would that be cheaper for you? Yeah, of course it would. 8 hours a day in front of the computer, learning software, reading courses, trying to put it all together. Then you start over tomorrow and you're not really a true business person, so you don't have enough experience to build a real process and a checklist that you can go through every day. I know that's true because people ask to buy my checklists all the time. When I show people how to do things, they all want to know if I created a checklist for it. That's how I know that you don't build checklists. Am I right? Go ahead and admit it to yourself that you do not build detailed checklists every time you learn a piece of software or every time you learn a new technique in a course. What you do is you read the course and you say to yourself, I'm going to remember, this is easy, I'm going to remember all this, I understand it perfectly. You get back the next day and then you spend triple the amount of time trying to go from memory and walk through every step, when you could have spent an extra hour yesterday right after you read that course and created a checklist and walked yourself through the process so that the next day it would be so easy a monkey could do it. That's what I do. I have thousands of steps on checklists. So I know when I find something that works, I'm going to make it as easy as possible for me to do, and then I'm going to hand it off to somebody else because I have made the checklist, I've tested the checklist, I adjusted the checklist, because I got to pay that labor by the hour, right? So I want to make it as easy as possible for them. So I'll make a checklist. So that automatically makes it cheaper. But this is even cheaper than that. So in our dream world, if you could work for 2 hours a day, get guaranteed traffic every day at 5 cents a pop, and you wanted to start out with 100 clicks, $5, that'd be cheaper for you. Of course it would. You just don't know it yet. Think about all that software you bought. Just tally up your last 2 months or 3 months of software purchases and compare that and the time you spent operating that software every day or every other day or once a week, however you do it. How long is it taking you to do all this work and still not get a profit. This is definitely a cheaper way to go. And if we were able to design our dream world, our dream online business every day, this is what it would look like. Is it possible? Think of all that time that you struggled. You probably struggled some today. You probably struggled some yesterday. You're probably going to struggle some tomorrow. Do you just enjoy the struggle? Or are you really here to make some money? If you're really here to make some money, it's time to recognize and acknowledge the reality of what you've been doing. It's time for you to see the reality, the same reality that I have seen. And it's easy for me to see it, probably easier for me than most of you, because number one, I've seen things like this before. I've got that business experience. Number two, I have employees and I track how much they cost me every day compared to what they make me every day. And the trend is not going in the right direction. So I'm sharing this information with you. I'm giving you a heads up. I'm helping you to see what's around the corner. The struggle is going to get nothing but more difficult. So unless you just enjoy it, it's time to face reality. So how would you sleep if you knew you were going to get 100 clicks tomorrow? Those clicks would be cheaper than anything you've ever done in the SEO world for free traffic. Then you could concentrate on something else. If traffic was no longer a problem for you, how would you feel about that? Would you be able to concentrate on your offers then? Finding better offers that convert better? Of course you would. You have more time for your offers. You can see more of them. You become better at recognizing what a good offer looks like compared to what a bad offer looks like, which means you would probably make more money. That's been my experience. How about if you knew you were going to get that traffic every day and you knew you had a good offer, you could get a squeeze page up and actually start building your list, because we all know that having a list makes our business Google proof, makes it Bing proof, it makes it everything proof. If you have a list, you can mail your list something that helps them. They buy something and you make money and they get what they need to further their education or further their business. So what if you had some time to devote to that? You know you would be going in the right direction. Right now you're just treading water, or maybe even worse, because you're not getting those 100 clicks a day from that quote-unquote free traffic that SEO is bringing you, because it's not bringing you any. And the biggest thing is, how about getting your life back? First 3.5 years I was in this business, 16 hours a day, 7 days a week. You added up well over, it was 43,000 hours. 16 hours a day, 7 days a week. I believe it was something like that. You can get your own calculator out and do it up. What I equated that to was having a BS degree in college and having 2 masters and 2 doctoral degrees. Same number of hours. Now I had it. I had money in the bank that allowed me to do that so that I could self-educate. Most people do not have that. That's why I like to share some of what I do. I've never shared anything that doesn't make me money. If it makes me money, I share it with people, because I know that you didn't have 43,000 hours to sit down and learn this business and self-educate from the ground up. I know you didn't. Most of you have families. Most of you have children, maybe grandchildren now. You didn't have time to do what I did. That's why I'm sharing this with you. But how about getting your life back? If you've gotten serious about SEO, you spent some serious hours in front of this computer getting nowhere fast. You know it, and I know it because I've done it too. I am ready to get my life back. Google and SEO and quote unquote free traffic has been sucking my life away. And it's probably sucking yours away too. I've seen the writing on the wall. I'm not doing it anymore. That struggle is over for me. There's an easier way. It's crazy easy now. If you get your life back and still make money every day, how would you feel about that? What if you were guaranteed traffic and it only costs you 10% of what you've already spent on all the crap that you've bought and the time that you've wasted? Would that make you feel better? I know it's made me feel better. When I made this decision 6 months ago, I know it made me feel better. I told you earlier, I have felt better. I've slept better. I'm not under the same amount of stress as I was. I feel better about this. Even though I got to move to Costa Rica and do some serious fishing and do some serious beer drinking. I love to drink beer. Anybody that knows me knows that. I love to drink beer, and I love to do it on the beach, and I love to do it while I'm fishing. Just some of the stuff that I like to do. SEO has allowed me to do those things, but I've paid a heavy price for it in terms of time. I can get money anywhere, but I can never get that time back. And after 10 years of being chained to SEO, I'm done. I am finished, because getting guaranteed traffic is so much easier for me. It takes so much less time, and it's so much cheaper than SEO. I'm finished with the struggle, and it's made me feel better. So what I want you to ask yourself is, guaranteed traffic every day and living a better life, isn't that what you had in mind when you first had that idea of making money on the internet? Going back to what I said at the beginning, we all got into this because we know the internet is powered with computers, and we know if computers are involved, we can automate the process. And if we can automate the process, that means it shortens the amount of time we have to work and extends the amount of money we can make. That's what computers are all about, right? So that's what we all thought about and dreamed of when we decided to get into internet marketing. I have never met a single person in internet marketing that can deny the fact that he wanted to automate the money-making process. Not one. And I've talked to 1,000 different internet marketers. We all have that one thing in common as human beings and internet marketers. We want to automate that process of making money. Now, I've been able to do that through a lot of hard work and a lot of time lost, and I just hired virtual assistants and trained them to do my job for me. Now, that has allowed me some flexibility and to be out of the office when I want to be. The office meaning wherever I live. Instead of being in front of the computer, I get to be on the boat or get to be in the airplane going somewhere. But for a one-man show, that is not possible. If you're not doing the work, then you're not getting the traffic, then you're not making the money. But if you had this guaranteed traffic coming in, which is cheap compared to what it used to be, super cheap, you can now be a one-man show, be profitable, and still have a life. Believe me, you're about to see it from me again, because I'm finished with the struggle. Because this is what I had in mind. I want to automate the process of making money so that I can have a better life. And this traffic source that I have shown you is going to do the same thing for you. Maybe you're still working a crappy job that you would love to get out of. Most people hate their jobs these days because having a job just sucks, especially when you know that there's money to be made on the internet, so you can automate the process so you can make more money to have a better life. It's a matter of perspective, right? That's why jobs suck. And that's why I know very few people who just say, well, if I won the lottery, I'll just keep working. That's because their jobs suck. If they really, really, really love their job, they would win the lottery and go back to work. But they don't. And if you can automate the traffic process, which is the number one single biggest problem for internet marketers is traffic. You know it and I know it. But if you get guaranteed traffic every day, then all you have to do is tweak your offer to make it profitable. Put $1 in, get $2 out. Is that not what you had in mind when you got into internet marketing? It's what I had in mind until they lured me into that world of free traffic. Just like you were lured into it. That's how I thought it should be. And I'm pretty sure that you have the same feeling. It's exactly what I thought of when I got started. I'm just like you. I like the internet marketing for the automation. I want to set and forget business just like everybody else. Magic cash push buttons sound great to me. But SEO got in the way. There is kind of sort of a magic cash button now. It used to be too expensive to buy it. And we all avoided that with that quote-unquote free traffic with SEO. So SEO got in the way. The shiny new object syndrome took you away from what was important. I know it did me. Free traffic seduced me, and it led me astray. Like a wily coyote, it seduced me, and it led me away from what the real focus really was. I was so ambitious. I am a man, and I've been this way since I was a kid. I am a man. It gives me chills. The hair standing up my arms right now. I am a man with unbridled ambition. I've been that way since I can remember it, since I was 14 years old. I wanted to do things that nobody that I knew had ever done, just so I could do things that nobody I knew had ever done. That's the kind of ambition that I have. It's why I started my first contracting business with $350 in my pocket and had the audacity and the giant ego to think I could make it. But I did make it. My ambition is so strong, it caused me to work 16 hours a day, 7 days a week for 3.5 years. My ambition and the belief in free traffic led me away from the life that I actually wanted to have, because I was willing to sacrifice to get to that lifestyle. I was willing to sacrifice. And if you have delved into SEO and found yourself immersed in it and determined to make it, come hell or high water, then your ambition has gotten you too. You have ambition. We're not different. I am just like you. We all have ambition. I simply had more hours and more time to dedicate and immerse myself than you did, because you probably have a family or other obligations that keep you from doing what I did. If you had been free to let your ambition run wild, you probably would have done the same thing that I did. Ambition is a tricky girlfriend. It's a tricky lady. It can get you everywhere, and ambition can also cost you your life in terms of time spent trying to accomplish a goal, and it can also cost you your life in other ways. I'll give you a couple of examples, and this is just me, but in addition to having unbridled ambition, I have the two things that I love to do in the world more than anything else, just happen to be two of the most dangerous hobbies on the face of this earth. Flying airplanes and scuba diving. And I even added another layer by scuba diving and killing big fish. That multiplies the danger by 5. It's exponential. When you get a 30, 40, 50, 60-pound fish, you get a hold of a fish and you're 120, 40 feet deep in the ocean, and you get a hold of an alive fish that can kill you. That exponentially ups the danger level. That's what my ambition. I don't have to do that to make money. I don't do that to make money. But my ambition carried me that far. Ambition can lead you into the wrong place. And if you have immersed yourself in SEO and you've made the declaration that you're determined to make it in SEO, come hell or high water, your ambition, just like me, has led you to the wrong place. There is an easier way. This is, I can't believe it. I can't believe how easy this is. Paid traffic, guaranteed traffic, 10 years ago was not easy like it is today. Guaranteed traffic, paid traffic was not cheap like it is today. Paid traffic has never been cheaper. And for every $1,000, let's cut it down to a little more manageable number. For every $100 that you spend on software, and for every day that you waste on that SEO software to get that free traffic, you know that costs money. I've already showed you. The paid traffic cost 90% less than what SEO is costing you now in terms of money and in terms of time. Do you know a man with the ambition that I have my ambition runs like a wild horse. That's how my ambition runs. It's always been that way. I've allowed it. It's one of the indulgences in my life that I allow. I have a lot of discipline when it comes to business and money. I have a lot of discipline. But one of the things that I give myself as a treat is to allow my ambition to run wild like a herd of Mustang horses and see where it takes me. It's always served me well. But if I had chosen paid traffic over SEO 10 years ago, I would be 10 times farther than where I am today. Now, I'm not in a bad spot. I'm in a pretty damn good spot. I got a great life. I have a great life. I make plenty of money to do whatever I want to do. But I could have been rich by this point. 10 years is long enough. If I had chosen paid traffic and put 10 years into paid traffic, I would have been rich. I truly believe that. Do you know how difficult it is for a man with unbridled ambition to tell himself that he's made a mistake? For the past 10 years, I've made the same mistake year after year after year after year. Do you know how difficult that reality is to face for a man with unbridled ambition? And the confidence in his mind that he can do whatever he wants to do, and he knows it's just a matter of time before he does. It was a very difficult reality for me to come to grips with. I don't want you to be as stubborn as I am. Free isn't free. There's no such thing as free traffic no matter what people tell you. You pay for it no matter what. We've been deceived. SEO is not easy. SEO is not cheap. SEO is not fast. SEO is holding you back just like it's held me back for the past 10 years. Why did SEO lure us away? Because the nightmare stories about Google AdWords 10 years ago that drove everybody into SEO. It drove everybody into SEO because that traffic was free. You didn't have to pay for clicks. If you were doing SEO, that traffic was free. SEO lured us away because the stories of people losing big, huge wads of money because the budgeting scripts that AdWords was using at that time were not that good. And it cleared some people's bank accounts out, sometimes literally overnight. There were stories that people lost $10,000 overnight because Google's platform had a glitch. And it ruined some people. That is what started this whole thing in SEO. I have a friend that got into the internet way before I did. I'm talking about 2000. He got into the internet and he built my first websites from a business. And I can remember him saying to me, there's this thing that people are talking about on how to get people to your website. Because remember, I was looking for a way to market my business, my contracting business nationwide. And when I was asking him, how can I get potential customers to my website, he was saying, well, there's this thing people are calling the SEO, search engine optimization, that's supposed to get you moved up in the Google rankings for certain things that people are looking for. But he said, but I don't believe it. I don't believe you can really do that. I mean, this guy was way ahead of the curve. He was on the internet, before tons of people were. $99, 2000, 2001, something like that. And it was a long time. He didn't really believe that search engine optimization was a good thing, or was a real thing, not a good thing, but he didn't think it was a real thing. He said, you can buy traffic, you can buy ads. And I was like, I don't know. How much does that cost? And he's like, I don't know. Right now, I'm just building websites. So after all those nightmare stories about Google AdWords and all of the, they didn't just put out, this is how, Google didn't put out, this is just how you do it. People had to figure it out. So there are all those stories and all of that unpredictability about everything. And when somebody finally piped up and said, hey, SEO is a real thing, I got the answer, buy this for $47. At that time, it was $49. Nobody was using the 7s yet. They were doing the same thing as retail. Buy this for $49, and this will show you how to do SEO. That's when it became a thing. And it lured us away from paying for traffic. And then there were people losing their Google accounts, and more stories about how expensive it was. And people would brag, like Perry Marshall. I went to meet Perry Marshall in Chicago way back in the day, 2003. I went to Chicago to see Perry Marshall. He was the AdWords, the original AdWords guru. And people like him would talk about how much money they spent every month, and they were using some huge numbers. And at that point, I couldn't afford to spend $5,000 or $10,000 a month to be successful with my advertising, my business nationwide. I was only making, at that point, I was only making $100,000 a year, $120,000, $30,000 a year. So there was no way that I could afford that kind of money. That's one of the reasons that I dismissed it. And it's one of the reasons that I got lured into SEO. Stories, stories, stories. Everybody was telling stories about this mythical creature called free traffic. It doesn't exist. It didn't exist then. It doesn't exist now. It was a lot easier back then, and you didn't have to put as much time into it, but it doesn't exist. It's Chicken Little. Same thing as Chicken Little stories. Sky's falling. I had to face my fears. I was tired of the SEO process when I couldn't get my new sites to go and make money. And I decided to face my fear of paid traffic. I realized that paid traffic, once I went and tried it, I realized paid traffic was not the big green hairy monster that I thought it was in my mind. And paid traffic, again, has gotten 10 times easier than it was 8 or 10 years ago. After a few days, I found my confidence, started getting traffic, not immediately when you upload your ads, but, the next day, within 24 hours. And I thought, man, that's just too easy. And it's so much easier than what I've been doing. What have I done wrong? Why have I wasted all of my time? Why have I wasted all of my time when I just did a few minutes worth of work, and 24 hours, I'm getting traffic for a nickel a click? Why have I wasted the last 10 years of my life? Then I developed a plan, because that's what I do. You want to concentrate on free traffic? I don't. Not anymore. I concentrate on putting my ads in, getting traffic that I know is going to be there within 24 hours. Now I concentrate on my conversions. For the last 6 months, this is what I've been concentrating on. And I've developed a checklist like you would not believe. I'm going to show it to you in a few minutes. Now traffic is the easiest thing I do. It's exactly the opposite for people who are doing SEO daily. That's the most difficult thing you do every day. For me, it's the easiest thing I do every day. I get up, have a cup of coffee, check to see how many clicks I got since yesterday, last 24 hours, and then I go for a swim, go to the beach, get on the boat, whatever. I don't have to worry about it because I get traffic every day, and I get as much or as little as I want. And it's a hell of a lot cheaper than SEO traffic, let me tell you. And it's guaranteed. Now the question is, the people who, and I'm speaking specifically about list building, which you don't have to do. That's what I have chosen to do. So every person that I get to sign up to my list, is that subscriber going to cost me 50 cents or is it going to cost me $1? Hell, let's just go crazy and blow it out of the water and say, okay, this subscriber is going to cost me $5 to get them on my list. In some niches, that's true. Some niches are costing $5, but they're very highly profitable niches. So I really don't care if it costs me 50 cents. I really don't care if it costs me $1. I don't care if it costs me $5. I just don't care. Now, I started out with paid traffic back in before the turn of the year, 6 months ago, almost 7 months ago. I started out in the niches that I knew were cheaper because I didn't want to put any more money out than I had to into it, just in case. So I went for the cheaper traffic in the cheaper niches. What I found was I could get leads for 50 cents or $1 and put those people into my Aweber sequence, and they were going to get 7 emails from me over the next 12 days, and they were going to have 3 or 4 opportunities to buy a $5 product. And I sold many of those $5 products. Make it cheap. Get your money back. That's your advertising money. So if a lead was costing me $1 to get them on my list, and I sell them something for $5, then I'm $4 to the good, right? Okay, you don't sell everybody. I'm being truthful with you. You're not going to sell everybody you get on your subscriber list. Eventually, everybody will buy something from you, probably, most likely. It may take some. It may be 6 months before they buy. So that difference, that $4 difference, that $4 that I made, went to pay for the rest of those subscribers that didn't buy anything for a month or 2 months or 3 months. So it was basically a wash. Just call it even Steven. But I got a big old list. And when I find something that I know that list is going to be interested in, and I mail them about that offer, that's when I make the money. So all I want to do is break even in the beginning. And I do that, and it all happens automatically. The traffic comes in every day. Bing handles the traffic every day. I don't have to handle it. Bing handles the traffic every day. They get on my list. Aweber handles sending the emails to all those subscribers with those $5 offers, and people buy. So I replenish my advertising account. That's how I replenish my advertising account. All that happens automatically. It's just a big circle, and it's all automated. And then when I find an offer, I take 15 minutes out of my day, once I get back from my swim, and I write them an email, tell them about the offer, tell them how it can help them, and if they're interested in it, here's a link, and you can go pick it up. And they do. And people buy for many different reasons. And I'm in different niches, too. It's not all about internet marketing. You know, Stephen King has become a multimillionaire writing horror novels. And he's never made a dime for anybody. Reading one of Stephen King's horror novels never made me any money, and I've read most of them. People buy for different reasons. You know, why do you buy? Even you, there are people on this call that buy internet marketing stuff as a form of entertainment. I find that strange, but who am I to judge? So all that, you know, my advertising money all comes automated. It's all automated in that circle. So you know, if it costs me $1 to get them, I don't care. You only have to spend $1 to make a $5 sale. The profit is in my hands. It goes right back into the advertising account so I can get more people on my list. So I'll make more money the next time I make a mailing. Okay, what else is there? Now that I don't have to worry about traffic, I look at the cost of acquisition, which is just what we just went over, and I concentrate on having new offers lined up for all those people who subscribed. Like I said, it's all done via autoresponder, so I don't have to touch it. And I don't have to touch the traffic because Bing sends it to me. So I'm not sitting here for 8 hours a day trying to get traffic. People sign up, people get emails, and people buy things. And if you want to replicate this, if you haven't had any luck getting traffic with SEO, if you've spent a bunch of time on SEO and haven't gotten anything out of it, or maybe you have, and you just want to get your life back and make the same amount of money or more, if you want to replicate my success, I'm going to make it easy for you. I'm going to make you an offer for the beta of this software and the beta of this training program. I even have some done-for-you solutions. Okay, we'll get into that. You've seen the proof already. Albert, my beta tester, he's my main man beta tester. Every time I find something new, I go to Albert first. Albert's a winner. Albert will take what I give him and run with it and go try stuff. And the first month, he was able to make $2,670. It took him 1 month. He made the majority of that, I think, before or right at the 2-week mark. It was his first month, and you can do that too. We've learned a lot of things since Albert did that 7 months ago. You can even do something more profitable than what he did, which is building a list, which is what I'm doing. Building a list is more profitable than what Albert did. So you can build that list that you finally wanted to build. All you have to do is decide, and I'll support you no matter what you want to do. You don't have to do it my way. You can do it with CPA, direct linking. You can do it with direct linking to ClickBank offers, really, 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 really easy stuff. Or you can get into the more advanced stuff like building a list. And I'll help you no matter what in this training because I need to know what the majority of people want, so I'll know what to offer them. So essentially, we're both helping each other. So you've seen the software. It literally took me 15 minutes to upload 44,000 ads. And you spend a few minutes checking your account every morning just to make sure the budgets don't get out of whack. That's what concerns me because I know what was happening 10 years ago. The platform was not capping the budget like it should have, and people got their accounts drained. So I still, in the back of my mind, I still think about that. So first thing every morning I do is get up and check to see how much money I spent and how much traffic I got. just checking my stats. You simply delete the keywords that are not performing, either the ones that are costing too much or the ones that aren't bringing you any traffic. You delete a few of those every day, and you elevate the ones that are performing for you. And it is the easiest traffic on the planet. I've done Google AdWords in the last 7 months. I've done Facebook ads in the last 7 months. I've actually been doing Facebook for about 2 years. This is the easiest traffic on the planet. Bing is very easy to work with. Google would never give support for AdWords back in the day. That was another reason people avoided it. Bing started giving support. Now you can call into Bing right now in 5 minutes, have somebody on the phone to help you with a problem. Believe you me, the first 3 months that I was doing this and figuring all this out, I was on the phone with them almost every single day. I eventually got to the point where I talked to the same person. He became my account manager. I have his direct extension. Now, when I call into Bing, I give them a certain identifier number, and they know to send me to my guy. So I get to talk to the same guy over and over. And they're helpful. They don't talk to you nastily. They don't talk to you like you're stupid. You know, they actually want to help you. Why do they want to help you so much? Because they want you to keep using the platform and keep spending that money. They did exactly the opposite of what Google was doing, providing no support. And then Bing started providing personal one-on-one support by phone. They did exactly the opposite. And it's working out in a big way. Now, look, everybody and their brother is an expert at SEO these days. I don't know how many times you guys are in Facebook groups that are all about SEO, but I'm in there a lot. I read 2 or 3 hours a day, and I read all those posts in those groups. And there are some people who know a lot about SEO these days. So what am I doing? I'm going in the opposite direction. I'm doing exactly what Bing did to Google. Bing saw what Google was doing, and they went in the opposite direction to capture the easiest part of the market. I know what people are doing with SEO, and I'm going in the opposite direction because the competition has gotten crazy, and this over here is so easy. Another example of going in the opposite direction is the stock market crash in the late 1920s, right before the Great Depression, or that caused the Great Depression. Everybody, even the laborers who were dug ditches with a shovel for a living every day, even they were in the stock market. What did all the smart people do? They got out of the stock market. When you see the herd going in a certain direction and 95% of the herd is heading in that direction, they're all going to the slaughterhouse, folks. If you're a smart cow, you go in the opposite direction. I see so many SEO experts in these Facebook groups every day now that know things that I don't even know. And I've been doing this for 10 years and making a good living out of it. I've showed you that. But when I hear some of the things that they're talking about and all the steps that they're having to go through to get this free traffic, I'm going in the opposite direction. I'm headed the other way because this is 2 hours worth of work. What you're seeing right now, this is 2 hours worth of work every day. If that. You can do all of that in your own budget. If you want to start with $5 a day, you can actually make money with $5 a day. You take that $5 a day and you get yourself 100 clicks and you send it straight to a ClickBank offer, straight to a CPA offer. That's all you got to do. You put that link in there one time and Bing will automatically send that traffic where you tell them to. And they'll give it to you for a nickel a click. Now, not all of it's a nickel a click. I don't want to deceive you. It depends on what niche you're in, because there's competition in paid advertising as well, and that does drive the cost up. But you can find a niche or a sub-niche where you can do this within your own budget. The done-for-you stuff that I mentioned, if you want to build a list, I'll provide you with the following. I'll give you a good converting squeeze page, and I'll show you exactly how to set up your Aweber account so that you can get that automated circle like I was talking about earlier. Bing sends the traffic automatically, people sign up automatically, then people get the emails from Aweber automatically with your offers in it, and then you have some earnings that automatically hit your bank account. That's automation. That's what we all dreamed of. I'm going to show you exactly how to set that up if that's the way that you want to do it. I'm going to give you a follow-up email sequence so that you don't have to write one. We have some very talented people who are number one on this call and involved with what we're doing, and we know how to write emails and get conversions, and we're going to help you with that. We're actually going to we'll do some of it for you. We'll do a few niches. And besides, there's not going to be a lot of people in this program that you guys are going to be have access to in just a few minutes. We're going to show you product offers that convert. If you bring something to us, we'll help you go over it and find out. We'll be able to help you review the product and the sales page and all that and tell you what we think. So then all you have to do is simply upload the squeeze page to your site, via WordPress, grab your keywords with your favorite keyword tool, and build your ads with the software, which I showed you was a 15-minute process, not only to build them, but to upload them. So you upload them to your account, and you go have a snack, or you go to the beach, or you go have a cocktail, cup of coffee, whatever. Check your stats tomorrow, and then you make your adjustments. Get rid of the keywords that are too expensive, or adjust your budget up. You get rid of the keywords that aren't bringing traffic. And this is not just a one-day process. This is a 2-week process, 2 hours a day max, okay? And then you get adjustment advice from me every day in the forum. Post your stats in the forum. Tell me what you did. I'll take a look at them, and I'll tell you what I think you should do. It's that easy. We're going to have that kind of level of support. Here's why I'm willing to do that. Because this is what I'm going to do. I am leaving SEO, and I'm leaving it for good. I'm going to keep the business that I have, but I'm not creating any more new properties for SEO. I'm not taking any more new local business clients for SEO. Any client that I get from now on for local marketing, I'm not doing SEO. Because I can send them automated traffic every day for a hell of a lot cheaper, which means I get to keep the spread, right? If a client is paying me a base rate of $500 a month to send them 250 visitors a month, what used to cost me $350, so that left me with a profit of $150, after labor, VAs, and all that. Now I can do it for $100, so I'm going to make $400. I'm not doing SEO anymore. This is too easy. This is too easy, and we're not telling everybody about it. We're not doing some wide-scale promotion on this, and I'll get to why we're doing that in a minute. So, what would that be worth to you? Has anybody ever offered you something like this before? Has anybody ever tried to help you see things from a different direction and actually make your life easier? Maybe. Maybe. Not many. Are you tired of the SEO waiting game? This is the time. You've got to face reality right now, because this presentation is going to be over in just a few minutes, and that's going to be it. Either you're in or you're out. You got to face reality, and you got to decide right now, are you tired of the SEO waiting game? You've got to face how much money you've already spent. You've got to face how much time you have already wasted of your life the same way that I had to. What is it really worth? Okay, spent 6 months making all this happen. We developed the software to make it easy. We developed very effective attack strategies, plans of attack. We developed tracking strategies that let us know which keywords are working and which ones are not. Huge. That's huge. That tells you which keywords to get rid of and which ones to keep. That tells you whether you can afford a keyword that's going to cost you $2 a click or not. This is how you be confident in your bidding strategy. If you could pay $2 a click for a keyword, that's probably going to be a $10 acquisition cost for a subscriber. But if that subscriber is interested in $500 products, what do you care? You don't. You don't. But without this tracking strategy that we figured out, which was not easy to figure out, you don't have the confidence to do that. This will give you the confidence. It'll tell the truth about what your keywords are really worth. And I have a checklist on it. I'm going to show you the checklist. We developed adjustment strategies based on all this other stuff that I've already told you about. We already have thousands of hours of work involved. So what's it really worth? I keep asking that question. Where we're going and what we're doing in the market we're going to be going after for real is the small business market. And this software is going to sell for about $500 a month. The training and support like this that I'm going to give you during the beta phase, wait for it, we're going to sell that for $500 a month too. We're not going after a bunch of internet marketers because we don't want a bunch of internet marketers doing what we're doing. We want to go to the small business owner who has $2,000 a month in their budget for traffic. And we're going to sell this directly to them for $1,000 a month because they can afford it. And that leaves them $1,000 to spend in traffic. $2,000 a month, $24,000 a year, that is nothing to a small business that grosses $1 million, $2 million a year. Restaurants, plumbers, whoever. And if they want to have their office manager or like a dentist has a business manager, probably the gatekeeper that you guys are if you're in the offline business, the guys that you try to get around. Those are the people that we want to bring in to our training center, and we're going to help them every month. We're not going after the internet marketing crowd. You are here because you are on my list. You are here because you are a valued customer of mine. And if you trust me enough to buy things from me, and I think everybody on this list, everybody that's on this call has bought something from me, this is another way of me giving back. We're not selling this to every Tom, Dick, and Harry in the internet marketing business. We're just not. We don't want them to get a hold of it because our real market is small business because there's a lot more money in it. Okay, this is a beta, and you're getting a deal today. When we go live, the software again is going to be $497 up front, and then probably $47 a month. Everything's going to have recurring on the end of it. We can't work for free. We can't provide support for free. We can't even provide support for free to you. We're going to offer you a deal, but we can't do it for free forever. The training is going to retail for $297 a month at least. That's at a minimum. That's if we're doing a sales push or a sales promotion. Okay, this is small business software. We're getting small business results. We're talking about we're making real money. And it's an automated process like I've already explained to you. The results are real. And small business? The small business is willing to pay. They're willing. They have more money to spend than you do. That's why we're going to be going after them instead of people like you. You are not our market. You are our beta market because you know what you're doing. You're familiar with software and how the system works on the internet. That's what makes you perfect for this beta, and it's why we're making you this offer today. But we're not interested in the IM crowd as a market. We're going to offer you a deal to help us on the beta because our market is much bigger and much more profitable. So what's it going to cost? Today, round 1 of beta to my subscribers only. Listen, there's no one on this call that is not on my list. That is by design. You guys are getting first crack, and I want you to know that. I want you to know that. So today is going to be $199 lifetime on the software. We'll be updating this software to handle Google Adwords as well. You'll be able to do either one, Adwords or Bing, whichever you like. But the training for you is going to be $37 a month, and it's a fair price. If you want some real-time help to build this automated process where Bing sends the traffic every day automatically, and then Aweber sends the emails every day automatically with your offers in it, I'm going to help you build that. But I need, I have to make a little money too. I can't provide support for free. You guys know that. Everybody listening knows that. So it's going to be $199 to get in, and then $37 a month after that. Okay, the first month's free. So it's $199 for the software in the first month, and then $37 a month. And it's never going to be this cheap again because we're not going to sell it this cheaply to people who are not on my list. This is a true one-of-a-kind offer for my subscribers only. And once this beta round closes, we may have another beta round depending on what kind of results we get from this beta round, but it's not going to be this cheap. Beta round 2, software and training will be going to monthly costs, and it'll be $97 for the software and $97 for the training, we think. But that's beta 2. If we get enough people in beta 1, if there are enough people on this call that get in that can help us, there won't be a beta 2. This will go straight to the small business market. That's $194 if you wait for a beta round 2, which may or may not happen. If there's not a second beta round, then you'll be screwed if you ever want to do this. You won't be able to get it for this cheap, and it's going to be a lot more expensive. Beta round 2 is going to be $194 a month, we think. But there may not even be a beta round 2. It may go straight to $1,000 a month, or $497 for the software and $497 for the training. This is no BS offer. This is not false scarcity. I've already told you where I'm going. You already know that that market is a lot bigger than the internet marketing crowd. I'm not making this up. I'm not making this up at all. We want to extend this opportunity to our peers and our valued customers whom have bought from us before and helped us make a living. Once this beta round's over, it's gone. The next opportunity, assuming there is one, which there may not be, is going to be $194 a month. So let's recap. I'll provide you with the following. Great converting squeeze page if you want to build a list. Exactly how to set up your Aweber account so that you don't have to fool with it. It gets set up one time and that's it. I'm going to give you a follow-up sequence so you don't have to write that. You don't have to struggle with that crap that I had to struggle with learning. And we're going to show you some product offers that convert. And we're going to help you every day with your ad adjustments. All you have to do is you're going to post in the forum, and I'm going to answer you and show you exactly what you need to do. We're going to give you directions on how to increase your earnings, basically lay out a long-term plan of growth for you. That's what I mean when I say directions on how to increase your earnings. And we're going to do a weekly webinar. I've avoided doing weekly webinars for a long time, but I've had so many requests for it in the last few months that I'm going to go ahead and make the commitment, and we're going to do a weekly webinar. I think it will be a great addition to the forum support, and it's not going to cost anything else. It's going to come with your $37 a month. We're going to do a weekly webinar and go over the things that you guys want to go over. We'll do a survey every week, and we'll cover all the things that you need help with or want to know about. And we'll do an FAQ at the end of every one of them. So, are you ready for some real progress? Are you ready to get away from the struggle of SEO and that lure of free traffic that you know has turned out just to be a lie? Are you ready for some progress? If you are, let's end the fight today. If you're ready to end the struggle, if you're ready for guaranteed traffic every day, if you're ready for some instant results, and by instant I mean traffic within 24 hours and information, data that tells you exactly what you need to do to make your campaigns better, if you're ready for some of those instant results and you're ready to get your life back, like I've spent 30 minutes preaching to you on this call about how it's so important for me to get my life back. If you want to get your life back and you want to get rid of all the confusion, speculation, and SEO theory, and you're ready to start making some profits every week, today is your day. All you have to do is click the link that I'm going to give you, and you can get access. You pay the beta fee, and it's going to give you lifetime software access, all upgrades that ever come. You'll never have to pay a dime again for this software because you're in the beta group. We're going to have plenty of small business owners who are going to be paying us a lot of money every month to upgrade or keep the software up and make the upgrades as we need to. We're going to have plenty of people doing that so that you don't have to. So you're going to get lifetime access. All you have to do is agree to the ongoing training. That's $37 a month. Again, not hiding anything. You guys know that it cost me time to help people. And I'm not asking for $1,000 a month from you. It's just $37 a month. And we're going to make some real money. No more SEO speculation. No more theory. No more waiting for weeks. I'm not doing that anymore. I am not doing it anymore. And look, frankly, I'm pretty blunt. Most of you already know that. I just like to tell it like it is. If you are going to stick with SEO and you're going to stake your future on SEO after everything that I have shown you, with the proof of earnings in Albert's first month, with the ease of the software and how quickly it is to upload thousands of ads in Bing, and knowing that you can get some of that traffic for 1 cent to 5 cents a click. If you're going to ignore this and you're going to stake your future on SEO after what you've seen today, I think you're crazy. You're not being logical. Either that or I didn't explain myself well. Now we're at 2 minutes or 2 hours, 5 minutes and 7 seconds. I think I've explained myself. I believe I have. I don't want you to ignore this because I'm not kidding. I am not kidding. The SEO business is over for me. And knowing what you know now, it should be over for you too. You can start getting traffic in just a couple of days. It's going to take us a few hours to set your software up because we're still doing that manually. This is the beta phase. But you can actually start making a profit in a week. You can actually start making commissions in a week. We'll have you getting traffic in a couple of days, and you'll start making profit in a week. But today, you've got to make a decision that you're going to change course. I hope that you can hear it in my voice, how serious I am about changing my course for my business and getting my life back. I hope that's coming through loud and clear. This is not a freaking sales pitch. I am about to change my life. The same way I changed my life in 2007 and I decided to close my contracting business down. I have already made the change in my life that I'm closing or shutting down future operations of my SEO business. I'm not doing it anymore. It's freaking stupid. Look, I'm not going to say it's stupid. I will say that it's a mistake. It's a mistake for me to keep going in that business with all the uncertainty and time wasted and money wasted that goes along with it. I'm not doing it anymore. I hope that you can hear that in my voice. I hope that you're going to get on board and go with me. This is a day. This is one of those days. Everybody says, there's going to be 100 days. At the end of your life, there's going to be 100 days that stick out to you in your life that are memorable, that are so memorable that you can't forget them. For me, just a few months ago, I had that day. For you, that day's today. This is going to change the way you see things. It's going to, I'll even be bolder than that and say this is going to change your life. Because it's changing mine already. And that's the truth. That is the truth. I sleep better. I feel better. I'm more confident. And I'm just never going back. So What I'm going to do now is I'm going to put this button, I'm going to type it into the questions here, and I'm going to send it to everybody. Let me just grab this, and I'm going to put this in here. Well, for some reason, okay, let's see. All right, for some reason I can't get it in here. Okay. Then I'm going to answer questions. Oh, my escape button's sticking. That's why I couldn't get it in there. I tell you, I've had a heck of a time with technical stuff in the last 2 days. Now my escape button is stuck and I can't get it up. It's not letting me paste the link in. Just a second. God, I can't believe this. Sometimes it just happens this way. It's crazy. Holy smoke. I'm trying to type and it won't type either. Okay, let's see. Who do I have on here that is connected with me on Skype? Anybody connected with me on Skype? Go ahead and hit me on Skype right now. See if we can do it through there. Okay, it worked in Skype just fine, but it's not working here. So I'm going to put it in chat. See if we can do that. Okay, here it is. We got it. Okay, it's in chat. The link is in chat. Can you guys see it? If you can see it, just type a 9. Okay, everybody can see it except Stacy. Stacy, there's a chat box on your screen. It's going to be right there. Okay, everybody else is seeing it. Stacy, do you see it now? Okay, it's in there. Just expand the chat box and you'll see it. Okay, Leonard, you can't see it because you're on your phone. Okay, I don't know what to do about that. Leonard, email me and I will email you a link after this is over, okay? Stacy, if you can't expand the chat box to see the link, email me. Okay, it's okay. Just email me or I think, look, we're connected on Skype. I just haven't accepted your request yet. I just accepted it, Stacy, and I put that link into you on Skype. Okay, for anybody that's on their phone, don't worry. Just email me and I'll take care of you. Okay, all right. I'm going to go back to the top here and start with these questions. Okay, Danny Valls has made a statement here. I didn't see it until now, but I know what he's referring to. We were talking about long tail keywords and then how that got really competitive and people moved over to video to do easier rankings because Google owns YouTube. And Danny says even the long tail keywords can take a while to rank. Plus the videos don't always bring in the calls. And you're right, Danny. You're right. They don't. Okay, let's see here. Yeah, Danny says, so you're going to show us how much we can cut from our monthly budget to make the same $100 a day. And the answer to that is yes. I mean, this is a process. It doesn't all happen in one day. You have to do a little bit of work every day. So, but it's going to be easy, and it's really not a whole ton of work. You post your stats in the forum, and I'm going to help you shave your costs. That's exactly how it's going to work. So yes, we're going to shave your ad budget all the way down as far as we can while you still make that $100 a day, because we want you to be, I mean, ultimately, we want you to put in $25 a day and get $100 out. That's what we're really after. Can we do that? In some niches we can. Some niches we can't. There are some niches that are competitive, and we'll never get to that point. But if you're putting $1 in and you're getting $2 out every day, shoot, man, that's pretty good business. And that's coming from somebody in the real world. For me, in the real world, and I had a high profit margin in my business, I made about 35% profit in my business, and that is high for any small business. And we got to the point we were doing about $1 million a year, but making about 35% on it. So I had to outlay $666,000 or $650,000 to bring that 350 in. Well, here you would outlay $150,000, get $350,000 out, and just reduce those numbers back down to, you know, something that's easily comprehended. You'd be putting in $1 and getting $3 back. That's better business. But putting $1 in and getting $2 back, that's good business. I mean, that's 100% profit, man. So it's what you can afford to put in every day. Valerie says, so what's the bottom line? I have to get dinner going. Okay. I'm sorry this was so long. I'm really sorry it was so long, but I needed to explain things. Gordon, I'm sorry I didn't get the link to you earlier. I didn't have anybody helping me on this, so I couldn't give the presentation and answer questions at the same time. Brian says he needs to leave. Will there be a replay? I guess that's what I get for doing 2-hour webinars. But I really wanted to explain myself. I didn't want you to leave without hearing everything I had to say. Okay, so getting back to the questions. Danny says, you didn't know what you didn't know 10 years ago, therefore it's not a mistake. And you're right. You're right. But I'm harder on myself than that, Danny. I hold myself accountable every day. I expect myself to do better than everybody else. That's part of my ambition. That's part of the ambition I was talking about. I expect more of myself. So I'm a little bit hard on myself in that regard. So, and Dan the Man, another Dan, says, yay, F the internet marketers. I agree. Okay, let's see here. Okay, does this work with GetResponse? Yes, this will work with GetResponse. Any autoresponder will do. It doesn't matter. And Stacy asked, is the software Mac compatible? Stacy, the software is based online, so it doesn't matter what kind of computer you're using. Danny Valls asked, did you show some earning results besides what you showed on the earlier videos? No, that was it. That was the only earnings proof video that I had. Danny also asked, how difficult is it to pick 2 to 3 more offers that will hit home runs for us? Well, you know me, Danny. I don't talk in absolutes like that, and I don't give guarantees. So what is a home run? Well, a home run, I'm going to call a home run for the sake of this program. I'm going to call a home run, put $1 in, get $2 out. That's a home run to me. Okay, how many of those $1 in, $2 out home runs can you get? You're unlimited. It's unlimited. As long as you want me to support you, I will support you. As long as you want me to help you, I will help you. It's just that simple. Okay, and what niche, CG is asking, what niche is a squeeze page and email sequence in? We have one done already, CG, and I appreciate you being here today, by the way. I know you were here yesterday, and we were all disappointed. I appreciate you coming back. We have one squeeze page, and let's see, no, I have 3 squeeze pages, and I have 1 email sequence done. I can have the other 2 email sequences done by the end of the, well, I can have them done by Monday, Tuesday, something like that. I got to give myself some wiggle room. I'm going to have to, it's been a very difficult week, and I'm going to take a day off this weekend. So I can have those probably by Tuesday, the rest of them set up for you. And we're going to take requests on the niches that you guys want to work in the most, and we're going to do some for those too. So we'll probably do a total of, you know, I don't know, 10 niches, maybe 15. I don't know. We're really looking for your ideas on exactly what we need to do, but I have a VA who can do those things for us, and then I'll check the work. So we will do those as we can, and we'll probably wind up doing quite a few of them. I think Valerie got mad at me because it didn't send the link. I know she had to go. She had to get dinner going. Again, I apologize for the long webinar, but I didn't want anybody to get out of here without hearing everything that I had to say. I'm like that. Okay, so moving on. Where's the button? Put the URL in the chat area. Okay. All right, moving on down. CG asked, what was Albert's budget for his $2,600 monthly earnings? And was it net profit? That was net profit. If you can go back and look at the video if you want to, but here's what he did. Before he started, he found a Bing coupon for $100 worth of free ads. And he applied that to his account. And he had an ad spend for the month of $56. So he spent $56 and he made over $2,800. His net was $2,670, somewhere in that area. But really, his first month, he didn't spend anything because he had that $100 coupon. He didn't spend much. I think he spent $12 in the second month because he still had those credits from that $100 coupon. Okay, Chris L. asked, do I use the same username if I'm already a member of My Affiliate Apprentice? Chris, if you buy with your same PayPal address, that will automatically be added to your previous account. So the same login credentials that you had will work again for you. Okay, Stacy, I sent you that link in Skype, so you shouldn't have to worry about the email now. And is the software online based? Yes, it is. And does your software eliminate our need for a tracker? We use Bing tracking. Bing has a very robust tracking system, and we use their program. It took us a while to figure it out, but we do have all that figured out. We have step-by-step steps for you. Okay, Gordon says, I just signed up, but when I got to the beta page, it was blank. Yes, it is blank. We haven't put the tutorials in there yet, Gordon. I'm going to be loading those up tomorrow. You can, however, click the link to go into the forum, and at the bottom of the forum, you're going to see the Bing Ads forum, and you can go in there and ask any questions that you have. And my VA will start uploading those tutorials for you tomorrow. Just check in with us tomorrow in the forum, and we'll make an announcement in the Bing Ads forum and let you know exactly what we're doing and what we get accomplished as we get it accomplished. Okay, Sarge says, I use Bing religiously and make as much as 2,500% ROI sometimes, so I'm signing up now. But do we need the monthly training for the software to keep working? No, you don't, Sarge. If you don't want the monthly training, you can cancel that at any time. It's going to be included. You're going to get 30 days of free support, and then it's going to bill at $37 a month after that. If you don't want the training, feel free to cancel it. It's not a big deal. We would like to have you in the forum so that we can learn more about your needs so we can improve the software. That's the idea of the beta. So if you wouldn't mind hanging around, we would greatly appreciate that. Okay, Muriel asked, how will we communicate with you? There's a forum. We have a forum, and you can ask all your questions there, and that's where I'll be doing the answering of all the questions. And then, of course, we're going to have a weekly webinar. I don't know what day of the week that's going to be on yet or what time it's going to be. We'll get a consensus once we get everybody into the forum, and then we'll make a decision on that. Stacy asked, in the video, Albert's money was made over 3 months, not 1 month. No, that's not true. That's not true. We did a video at the video at the 3-month mark, but if you'll go back and watch that video, you will see that we sorted the earnings so that we measured only his first month. So go back and watch the video, look at it a little bit closer. We sorted those earnings so that we didn't count everything for that first month. And okay, Stacey says she got the link. Okay, thanks. Okay, anybody else have any questions? Look, I'm here for as long as you want me to be. I'm here for as long as you want me to be here. If you have any questions, just ask them. I'll be happy to sit here all night. I am so serious about this change in my life that I can't stop thinking about it. This is one of the best decisions I've ever made. And I said the same thing about closing my contracting business when I did. I told my friends, I said, you know, a year later, I was talking to friends that were a part of my life in the contracting world, and they told me how bad that business had gotten a year after I decided to close my business. That's how I knew that I had made the right decision. I feel the same way about this decision. And I've been holding this in for 3 months now. I've wanted to tell a lot of people, but I haven't been able to because I just didn't have everything that I needed. But now I feel as good about this decision as I did about that one. I'm so excited, and life is about to change. I am going to have more time for being on the water, more time for being in the airplane, more time to travel, more time to do the things that I love to do without feeling guilty. You know, my ambition causes me to feel guilty when I'm not working, because I know if I was working, I could be accomplishing so much more than if I was fishing or drinking beer, flying, or otherwise, you know, messing around. So I'm torn. I love to do all those things, but I'm torn every time I do them. I feel guilty about not working sometimes. I feel guilty about not working all the time when I'm not. But this new traffic is allowing that guilt to dissipate because I know Bing's going to handle it, and it's going to happen automatically. I've uploaded my ads. There's nothing more for me to do. There's nothing more for me to do as far as traffic's concerned. All I have to do is spend a couple hours a day tweaking my campaigns. I don't have to feel guilty for not working after lunchtime. Now, I'm always going to work. My ambition will not allow me to not work, and I get bored. But I don't have to work as much anymore. And I can't tell you how excited I am about it. Okay, got a couple more questions here. Okay, yes, you can pay with PayPal. Sarge is saying it's trying to sign up, but it's not going through. PayPal keeps telling me that my last action cannot be completed. I don't know why that is, Sarge, but I know you have my email. Try it again. Give it about an hour and try again. There may be so much traffic on the server that it's got it slowed down. So give it about an hour and try again. If you can't get through in an hour, shoot me an email tomorrow morning, and as soon as I get to the office, I will get back in touch with you. We'll hop on Skype and we'll walk through it so that I can see what's going on. I've talked myself to death tonight. I don't know how much longer I can go because my voice is about to go. But I'm going to say as long as I can, but I can't walk you through it personally tonight, but I certainly will tomorrow. And I apologize for that. I don't really know what the problem is. I'm just speculating, but whatever we have to do tomorrow, we will do, and I'll get you going. Danny is asking, what's going to be the biggest challenge for us in using the software? Basically, the most work goes into getting your keywords, Danny. After that, it's going to be writing the ads, but we're going to work on that together. If you tell me what your niche is, and we find out what your demographic is, your target demographic, and I'll help you write ads. That's part of the support. We're going to help you write ads too. Writing ads can be hit or miss. We know that. We've been through it. But after 10 years, I've learned how to write ads, and I'm going to help you do those things. And we're going to make sure that you've got everything you need. Creating and tweaking ads to get good quality score and hopefully convert well, loading info into Bing, etc. All of that. all of that. We've figured out how to get, I've gotten 8s and 9s on my quality score. We've figured out how to do that. And we do it with dynamic keyword insertion, which you're going to learn more about in the coming days. If you're direct linking to a product, your quality score is going to be out of your hands because quality score is based entirely on the landing page. If you're building a list, we can get your quality score where it needs to be so that you're getting the cheapest traffic possible. Okay, CG says, how do we get tens of thousands of keywords? Is there a designated scraper we're supposed to use? CG, what I use is Scrapebox. Almost every SEO guy has Scrapebox. If you don't, you can get it for $57, and I'll give you a discount link in the forum for that. You get it for $57, and it's what I use. It's what I've been using for years because to me it's the best keyword scraper out there. CG says this is the last question. This can be applied for local lead gen for clients. Absolutely, absolutely, and it's something that I myself want to explore. We have this program down for affiliate marketing and list building, but we are going to focus on lead gen as well. And I'm really, really excited about this because I know that I'm going to make more money with local lead gen just with the clients I already have. I'm going to make so much more money buying this traffic than I ever was doing SEO. So yeah, we're going to concentrate on it. Carl says, amazing opportunity. Thanks for sharing. You're the best. Carl, man, I appreciate you. I appreciate your business. I know you've been a long-time customer, and I'm grateful for you being here, and I'm grateful for what you've had to say. Danny says, does this make sense to use the ads for like Ring Partner, or is it more for affiliate type sales? I'm not exactly sure what Ring Partner is. I know I've heard about it, but I'm not sure what it is. But if Ring Partner requires traffic for you to make money, this is traffic. So yeah, you might have to apply your traffic differently than you would if you were going to build a list. But yeah, traffic is traffic. All traffic is good traffic. You just have to have the knowledge to figure out how to make that particular traffic work for that particular offer. So it's not a matter if it's good or bad. It's a matter of figuring it out, which is something that we're going to do. And we're going to keep doing it because this is, I mean, when I say the sky's the limit, really Mars is the limit. Pluto is the limit. This is, you're not going to believe it. You're not going to believe it. When you get into it, you're not going to believe it. What about Amazon type products? Danny asked. Yep, this works for Amazon too. Know a lot of people doing it. A lot of people doing Bing ads to Amazon products. You can make money with it, that's for sure. Leonard asked, how many different ads do you split test? Leonard, let me tell you what we're doing instead of split testing. We're doing dynamic keyword insertion into our ads and into our landing pages. Now let me explain DKI, dynamic keyword insertion. In Bing and in Google AdWords, you can put in a token into your ad copy that will directly reflect exactly the keywords that the user types into search to find your ad. Now let me explain that a little. Let's go into a little more detail. It's simple. When somebody types in, let's just assume we're in the weight loss niche but we're in a sub-niche called bikini diets. Okay, this is something that's going to be popular from January until probably till the end of summer. It's one of those niches. So let's say bikini diet is the keyword that or one of our keywords. We put this token into our ad copy, and our ads pop up when a user types in bikini diet. Our ad pops up, and because we put this token in there, Bing is going to automatically insert exactly what the user typed in to search into the ad copy. It's huge. There's no more, I won't say there's no more A/B testing ad copy, because there is some, but this takes dynamic keyword insertion takes away 75% of the need to do A/B testing in your ad copy. Because if your ad copy reflects the exact words that people are typing into their search, believe me, it doesn't get any more relevant than that. There are a couple of tricks that we have already identified in addition to dynamic keyword insertion for our ad copy, and we'll be sharing those with you inside. There are a couple more tricks. Okay, Danny says Ring Partner is a pay-per-call affiliate network. Absolutely. Or no, CG said that. Okay, thank you, CG. I appreciate that. Okay, moving on. Gordon says, I'm in the membership area now, but cannot see where Bing Blaster. Where is Bing Blaster? The page goes to an empty page. Okay, Gordon, that empty page is where the tutorials are going to be. But if you go back to your account page, you will see a link that says full forum access right at the top. Right at the top middle, there's a picture of the forum, and right on top of that image is a link to the forum. That's going to take you to where you can see the Bing Ads forum. As far as Bing Blaster, the tool itself goes, we have to set that up manually, like I said earlier in the call. You may have already left to go to work when we covered that, and I'm sorry for that if that's what happened, but we have to set that up manually, and everybody that gets in tonight will be setting the tool up for you manually starting tomorrow. And we will contact you once we have your username and password. We've got this thing on a server. It's on a kind of a special server, and we have to do this manually right now because our ability to create and distribute keys for the software didn't line up with the way we had it built. So we're working on that, but for now we're creating these. We'll be creating your account manually and emailing you a link, username, and password. And in fact, we have some of them, I'm being told right now, we have some of those that have been created already. So tomorrow, when I get to the office, I will send you those. I'll send everybody those that paid so that you won't have to worry about. I should be able to get that started and done by noon tomorrow, my time, Central Standard Time. Okay, Valerie says, how long is this open for? Valerie, I don't know. It may close tonight. I'm not sure. If you need something, you've been a long-time customer of mine too, email me. We'll work something out. I'm just going to leave it at that. You know me, and I know you. So email me. If you need a couple of days, I can do that for you because you've been a long-time customer, and I appreciate your business. Danny's asking, so this is better than trying to do the mass page sites? A rhetorical question, I guess. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Danny, it's night and day. It is night and day. We're not putting any money into the future of that business model. I never believed those words would come out of my mouth. And I've said it 100 times. This method, I will always be able to make that automated site method work. And I still can. I still have friends that are doing it. They're still building new sites. But for me, I'm finished. I'm finished. This is so much easier. I'm finished. I'm finished with the SEO altogether. Okay, Muriel, thanks. I appreciate you getting in. Thank you very much. And I will mail you your stuff tomorrow. Danny asked, as far as buying domains, should we be okay using XYZ sites, or is it considered to use .com for higher conversion? Most people may trust .com over XYZ. And is there any advantage to HTTPS? I think XYZ sites will be fine. I'm driving traffic to those, some of those from Bing myself. So I don't think it's having an effect on me. I think that used to be really important to people, but it's not anymore. And is there an advantage to the HTTPS protocol, the secure protocol? Not that I'm aware of. We're not using it. It's not even a blip on my radar. Okay, and Annie says, thanks, I just registered. I will wait for your email tomorrow with instructions. Thank you so much, Annie. I really appreciate it. Thank you for trusting me. I'm grateful for your business, and I'm going to do everything that I can to help you. And that looks like the last comment. Anybody else have any more questions or comments? I'm going to stay here as long as my voice stays here. Danny says, thanks for sharing this, Roger. You're welcome, Danny. And you've been a long-time customer, too. I appreciate your business. I really do. Okay, that looks like it's about it. So I'm going to wrap it up. This is, it's been a long one. It has been a long one, well over 2 hours. I really appreciate everybody coming. Thank you so much. I'm very grateful that you took your time out to come see me, not once, but twice. Again, yesterday was a terrible mistake, and I can't wait to see you guys on the inside. We're going to go ahead and end the webinar now. And I hope to see you guys over the next couple of days. Thanks a lot.